Today, rather than continue with the, we're going to take a day break from the text, because somebody wrote in and was asking about what's happening in Sri Lanka. There's some violence of Sri Lankan Buddhists against Muslims, and also in Myanmar there's some violence of Buddhists with Muslims. And in both cases, it seems to be the Buddhists that are more dominant, and the Muslims are minorities, and you know, not nice things are happening to them. So somebody was asking about it. I'm not quite sure what the question they were asking was, but it might be more just, why are Buddhists doing this? You know? Because not all Buddhists are Buddhists. You know, Buddhists are human beings, and they have defilements, and they're doing the best they can. And even in the one of the film clips of what was going on in Sri Lanka, there were some monks pushing and so on. So the thing is, you know, you have people who keep their vows better and people who don't, and people who get very stirred up about things and people who don't. I think it would be very interesting to see if it's actually a religious thing that's going on, or if it's an ethnic division. Because very often it's two different ethnic groups that also happen to be different religions. But the press plays it up as a religious conflict. Whereas in both of these two things, when I read about them, they didn't express it as they were fighting about religion. You know, although in Sri Lanka it seems like they had burned some or knocked down some mosques, but it might also be people getting stirred up just because it's different ethnic groups. So I think in lots of these conflicts you have to really see what is the source and what is going on, and to recognize that, you know, just as Jesus taught people to be kind and tolerant and loving and caring, and yet you had the Crusades and religious wars in Europe every generation, so the Buddha, you know, also taught people to be ethical and kind and compassionate, and people get stirred up about this or that. So I'm not saying what they're doing is okay. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that if we expect ordinary beings to already have the realizations of the Arhats and the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, just because they've taken refuge in them, then we have too many grandiose expectations of people. Yeah. As what we can do, also being Buddhists, to quell the disturbances in Myanmar and Sri Lanka, I'm not quite sure what we can do. Writing to the president of Sri Lanka or Myanmar, I really don't know. You know, because I don't understand the conflicts in those places well enough to know exactly who is instigating them. And there could be different temples that are actively trying to bring about peace, but I don't know who they are. Yeah, so if somebody wants to do some research in this and really learn more about it and see what can be done, then that's really good. But just because we're Buddhists doesn't mean we have connections with everybody all over the world. You know, if we could find some, it would certainly be good to encourage those people. You know, to encourage the leaders to teach their disciples about, you know, what the Buddha taught, and to teach, give examples, because even during the Buddha's time there were different clans that were quarreling and fighting over water rights and land rights. It was going on at the time of the Buddha too, and he did what he could to quell these kind of disturbances. Yeah. But when you live halfway around the world, it's kind of hard. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, you have to know an organization and know the people who are there who you could talk to. Yeah. So in the meantime, we can do the taking and giving meditation. We can dedicate prayers. And then if somebody has the, wants to investigate further to see what we could actively do, that would certainly be very good.